All right, we back. This one I will be going by fast.
It does.
It's not as short as I thought it was gonna be. It goes by really, really fast. It's not as long as I thought it was gonna be. It goes by fast.
Oh shit, Anthony's in here. Can I talk shit during your serious conversation?
I mean, we can't entertain the conversation that's in the comment section where we're having a conversation on top of the live.
I guess
so
that
if you
means
want to talk shit, I mean, you're entitled to do as you please, if that's what you want to do. But again, the statement has been posed. Some men have actually thought about it and thought about exactly what that means. And maybe there's just really not a positive representation of men out here. And that's why people may feel like men hate women but just love pussy, because the chase is the chase. I believe that pussy is one powerful thing.
But why? It's like, why go through such great lengths to get us to be interested in you, just to kind of like fuck us over in the end? Like, what's the sense in that?
Hold on a second. Let me get to this question right quick.
Okay. It better be good, Mitch.
What are your views on an open relationship? For or against?
If that, whatever works for you, you know, whatever, you know, what's the statement? What you eat don't make me shit. I don't care.
I guess it's the views. Like, how would you feel about an open relationship? Because it's more directed.
No, me personally, we either in a relationship or we're not. So if I'm gonna be entertaining other people, or like I don't know, just the thought of like being intimate with multiple people, I'm just not at that point in my life.
It doesn't always have to be sexual.
I guess it depends on your reason. Like, if you're not being emotionally supported in one relationship, like, why am I here? Right?
I agree with that. I mean, the open relationship, there is a misconception about monogamy and then open relationship. They're like two different, totally different things.
Mitch is the asshole. He's
gonna start. Ignore the comment section, please, because
don't feed the trolls. He said because you weren't as good. I'll say this: if you're in a relationship with someone and you feel like at some point you want to open the relationship and date other people, I think it's in your best interest to kind of express that, because I've been in relationships where I've been in a relationship where I probably would have liked to do me, even though I was in a relationship with this person, because as much as like I liked him, I wasn't in love with him. You know what I mean? I had love for him, but it was just like whatever. But this particular person was doing him and then lying to me about it. And that's the part that pisses me off. Like, why do you have like the freedom to do you, but then when I confront you about it, you lie to keep me in the house like Rapunzel, but then you can go out and do what you want to do. So if you want to be in an open relationship, like, hey, because like let's just be real, right? Women, we have way more options than men.
Correct.
If I'm just being honest, like, we have way more options than men. So if you really want to open that can of worms where you want to be in an open relationship, by all means, go for it, but you're going to be pissed off. Because whoever she's going to start fucking on after you is going to be way better than you.
Do you think sex brings the relationship closer?
It can. It can. I guess am I supposed to be answering these questions like just from my perspective?
It's your opinion, not mine.
For me, yes, because I am very stingy with my cootie cat. Like, I can't, like, if I don't like you, you know, when I like somebody, I like them. Like, my face lights up. I'm like, yeah. So, like, if I don't feel like that about you, I can't sleep with you. So once you've unlocked this part, the sex is only going to bring us closer because I'm already into you. But for men, let me know where these options are. Ashley, I'm trying. I'm trying. But for men, they can separate sex from intimacy. And women can too. Let me not say that. But for me personally, if I have sex with someone, like if I had sex with someone that I didn't really like, my sex would be so trash. It would be trash. It would be trash. I know it would be, because I wouldn't like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even want to be here right now. Like, no.
Why do you think infidelity exists?
Because people have options.
That's just it?
People have options. People have
I think opportunity meets options.
I mean, you create the opportunity when you have an option. The right person will make you create the opportunity. You start making shit up. Oh, gotta go to Hollywood, or like, you know, whatever the situation may be, like, you'll find a way to spend time with that person if you're interested enough in them and you actually want to be with that person in that sense.
So we have a question about
Mitch is crazy.
Mommy issues that these niggas be having. It says, y'all better talk about these mommy issues that these niggas have. I don't really know. I'm not one that.
I'm still a virgin.
I don't know. I just think that men may have a problem with women, period. And maybe it may start with their mom, but I don't really know. I never really got that far. I don't know the issues that they may or may not have with their mother.
Mommy issues.
I mean, because you can see, I guess people want to talk about that because your mother is probably like the first girl that you meet as a guy. And your father's basically the first guy that you're with. So whatever you see, you would want your significant other to kind of embody those goals or those values that your father may have had, or maybe be more than that. So I think maybe that's why this question was posed. Like, basically, like, it starts at home. Is there more clarity to the mommy question?
Yeah, I think I need a little more clarity.
We need more clarity. Basically, like, what? Does it start at home? Like, what is your opinion about a man who has issues with his mother? Like, what is it exactly?
I'll say this, like, me personally, I wouldn't want to date a man that didn't have a good relationship with his mother. Like, if you don't take care of your mom, like, not meaning you have to, like, fully support her, but, like, if you don't nurture your mother and, like, because you're, like, we need to give moms a round of applause and give them more credit, especially if you had, like, a good mom. Like, moms find a way. If you have a good mother, there were probably times that you went without and you knew nothing about it, because that's what a good mother does. Like, they will make it happen. So to me, a man that doesn't really have that connection with his mother, or just like the decency to make sure she's okay, that's a red flag for me. Well, if the mother never nurtured you, that's understandable. But then I would feel like you probably have some type of, like, love
codependency issues,
type of something. Because if your mother,
you're looking for somebody to be your mother and take care of you, then
right. Like, if your mom never loved you, then how did you learn love? Like, who showed you love?
I think it boils down to self-awareness. I think we can all have, like, individual traumas and issues from the home. I don't think everybody's home was perfect. So if you are aware of whatever it is that has taken place in the home, then you can kind of work from there if you think that something is wrong with that. But again, it starts with self-awareness. So if you are dealing with somebody that you believe to have mommy issues, then if they don't think that they have those same issues, what your belief is doesn't really matter, because it's basically, I think it's more of a self-reflective thing.
But that goes to anything. Like, and two people can be, and it's very hard to, like, take a really good look at yourself and be honest about your flaws, or, like, your character or your shortcomings or anything like that. People who tend to point fingers and are quick to point out other people's issues and be silent on their own are, like, people I like to stay away from. For that very reason right there. Like, you have to do some type of soul searching, some type of reflection at some point in your life to just kind of think about, how did you get to where you are? And how can you just be a better person? Everyone should take some time to just kind of reflect on things and just be that. So if you're someone that won't even acknowledge the fact that your mom or dad not being present in your life the way that they probably should have been has affected you, like, that's the end of the conversation right there. You're already closed-minded.
I don't think certain people have the mental capacity to actually tap that far into your head. I'm one person who I sit in my head all day. I'm in here all day, and then I'm inside all day. So then I also kind of sit there. But then sometimes that can kind of create anxiety. So I mean, there's some people that's basically just kind of cope.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to just kind of pick your poison. If you can deal with that person, then you can. If you're struggling to deal with that person, then you have to find another person or figure out a way to cope with that. Because I think that often sometimes, you know, people kind of focus on relationships a lot, but then I think that there's more inner work that we have to do as individuals in order to be the best person we have to be in the relationship. And sometimes you can work on yourself while you are in a relationship. I think it is possible, but in order to work on yourself in a relationship, you have to be honest with the person that you are with and say, this is where I'm effed up at. This is the part of me that I'm struggling with right here. Can you deal with me while I cope? Because I think two junkies have been able to be together and get clean, right?
Right.
So why can't two people that have dealt with traumatic experiences in childhood and life be able to cope with all the childhood traumas, cope with the world and all the traumas that they've experienced in their own personal journeys, and get back right and try to be the best version of themselves? You know, right. It always turns into you did this, you're the effed up person, but I think it's all in how we receive it. You know, even with myself, you know, I struggle with a lot of different things because, again, a lot of things are foreign to me. Mm-hmm. I'll be the first to say I don't come from this. I think the junkie is a bad combo, but it's a realistic combo of two people that are struggling with some. Struggle is struggle.
Struggle is struggle.
Struggle is struggle. So whether or not you are on drugs or you are struggling in inner turmoil is inner turmoil. So sometimes I think the drugs are a little bit more, people can see it more on the outside.
Right.
But you can't see somebody's depression as much as you can see somebody's drug use or alcoholism. So people can kind of see that and point the finger at that, but you wouldn't be able to look at you or look at me and be able to say she's struggling with depression or she's, you know, struggling with this. I'm just saying usually they can't lift each other up. No, they can't, but they can make an active, you know, they can both want to get help. You can want to get help,
mm-hmm.
and you can want to get better. And so the same thing goes in a relationship. You can want to get help, and you can want to get better, and you can want to do a lot of soul searching. Like there's AA for people that are on drugs. There's therapy for people out here. There's a lot of mental health issues that we in the Black community have. And I don't think we address that enough, and we don't hone in on that because we're taught to just get over it.
I feel stupid. Mitch said, what's some examples of like mommy issues? Like, and Simone touched on it really quickly. Like even codependency, like a lot of times people grow up without a man. Like, so for men, because it was never a father in the household, they had to be the man of the house. And then they grow up to have their own respective families, but they still have this obligation to their mother's household where they feel that they still have to be the man of the house there. And they kind of put their mother's needs before the needs of the person that they're with. Like, this is your family. Like, your mother's your family. But, like, you started your own family with somebody else. And then when it gets really difficult is when, I'm not going to say the mother is toxic, but, like, because she doesn't have anyone else, she's going to put her needs before the needs of anybody her son may be dating, regardless of how much she might like her or dislike her or whatever. And then now the outcome is, she's telling you, oh, so you're going to put her before me? You know what I mean? And like put him in a position where now he has to choose and he feels obligated because this is his mother. Like, that's unhealthy.
Right.
That's unhealthy. That's not.
I think there are unhealthy mother-son relationships, just like there are unhealthy mother-daughter relationships. And it just all depends on whatever the struggle was at the time. I think so. I don't think, do we have any more questions? Let me see. People are out here with mommy and daddy issues that don't even know it. They just know that they have issues related to the opposite sex. Even worse, they refuse to explore therapy to bring such issues to surface and tackle them. That's just what I said. Like, I think a lot of these things, within given the right situation, depending on how much you really want to work on yourself, it can be definitely done and talked about. I don't think we talk about mental health enough in the Black community. Again, we're just taught to just keep going and keep pushing forward. But I think sometimes as you keep pushing forward, you just drag a lot of baggage. It weighs you down. You know, I think it definitely weighs you down. So what are some examples of like healthy boundaries that you create around yourself, like within your family, within your work, within your life? Like, what do healthy boundaries look like for you?
I guess healthy boundaries for me are just avoiding like what might be like a trigger for me. And like sadly to say, and I really hope she's not watching because I would feel bad, but like my mom is like a trigger for me sometimes. Like my mom is the one person in this whole world, and like I love her more than anything, but she has the innate ability to just
Do not read that comment. Do
no,
not read it.
I don't disagree with Dula, but like that's not what I
Do
was
not read his comment. Finish your statement.
But I say that to say my mom has the ability to like if she's in a bad mood and she calls me venting because she's in a bad mood or like just calls me to complain about something, it like puts me in a bad, it puts like a dark cloud over me, and then by the end of the conversation she's like lifted and like she feels great and she can go on about her day, whereas now I'm like, you know, just like in a mood that like that I wasn't feeling like prior to talking to her. So me personally, just and just for me, people who complain a lot, I don't do well with that because I'm very solution oriented. Like you're gonna have like a couple times to complain to me about something, and saying a couple is being generous. I'm only gonna give you really like probably one time to complain about something before I'm trying to come up with a solution. And if you're just like kind of like blind to the solutions that are being proposed and you just want to complain, I can't deal with that. Like that shit puts me in a bad mood. So yeah, it's a transfer energy, and then it's just like I'm not like that. So it's mind boggling to me, and it's like frustrating, and so many things that I don't want to be associated with. So I'm just like I'm good. Like just I'll talk to you later. Like there's been times where like I won't speak to that person for days just because it's like I want to speak to them again when this issue is behind them, and we can just kind of move on and talk about something else.
To answer Alvaro's question, I'm all for all kinds of therapy, couple therapy included. I mean, I'm in therapy. Like I'm here already. I mean, there's some things that I think that I have my own views on what the world is supposed to be, and some of my views are distorted. So I, just
I think
try to
sometimes therapy is very helpful to answer.
I think it can be healthy because you have a medium in here basically filtering what both parties want to say or what they're trying to get across.
I can tell Simone is in therapy, and I won't go into details, but like maybe a month ago when Carrie, I'm not putting you on the spot, you know I love you, but Carrie had reached out to me and Simone with an issue she had because she was mad at the both of us, right? And the way Simone dissected everything just screamed therapy. Like it was beautiful. Like she's like, well, it was just the way that it was packaged. Like
I had to get to the one.
Simone is in
gotta
therapy,
go with one,
and it's working. Like and yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
I will touch lightly on that. Like I have been in therapy for about 4 years now. I had to switch up on a therapist because I had a white male therapist. And one thing I know that triggers me is when people are not listening to me when I'm talking to them. That bothers me. If I'm talking to you and you're not like giving me your undivided attention, it's a definite sign that you are not listening. And I know that people can walk and chew gum, but now I see how teachers felt when my ass was doodling on paper, not giving them the time of day because my ass is looking down on my paper because I was like, I don't care because I hear what you're saying, but I'm not giving you my full divided attention because it's showing like disrespect in my opinion. So I don't really like that. And my first therapist was not good at listening. He was doing multiple things and it was triggering me while I was in there. Like, sir, I came here to get help.
Not triggered during therapy.
Like, I'm getting triggered. I think you kind of judging me a little bit. I need to kind of find me a black therapist, a black woman therapist that can kind of help me navigate my life because she's a black woman and I'm a black woman. I don't really think I'm going to get too much help from this white man because he doesn't really know my struggle as a black woman and what I'm going through and where I'm coming from. So for you to be sitting over here looking at me and talking about, do you realize you drink a lot? I was like, wait a minute. I thought this was a safe space.
Right.
I thought I could say what I wanted to say. And you like not judge me, but I felt it was judgment. So did you judge me? And then I know that I'm super defensive. And I think that I'm always going to be like defensive because where are you coming from with that? Like I always try to figure out like, where's that coming from? Where does that come from? Like, I don't understand. Like, if I don't know the origin of where something is coming from, I can't fully embrace it, and I'm kind of like standoffish. And it goes back to my own past experience when it comes to people. I'm not really good with people that are extremely friendly with me up front, because I feel like they want me to let my guard down and let them in, or they're trying to get close to me to know something. And sometimes people can be really friendly, and over time I can see that. But if I am being resistant towards you and you're being friendly and you take that as me being rude to you, then I can only say that you weren't being genuine. Because if you're genuinely friendly, you're friendly.
Right.
My, response to whatever you are should not affect that. So if you're being genuinely friendly, then if me kind of being like, oh, okay, no, not a problem, it shouldn't offend you or affect you in any type of way. But the conversation that we had with Carrie, my first reaction is always to be like, what? Right. So that's the first reaction that I always have. But then it's something that's bothering her, and she's coming to me, and I care about her. So we have to sit down and assess the situation to figure out a solution for it so that we can kind of be closer, because I said at the top of the year that I love you both, and if you guys will have me, I'll have y'all. So I can't have my village fighting, or somebody in my village not being,
happy with me,
happy with
unhappy
that I'm
with
doing. And that's one thing I will say. If I've done something to offend you, then call me out on my shit. Don't talk about me behind my back, because now I find that to be disrespectful, and now I'm feeling some type of way, and now
Right.
But that was it for me. I used to kill people in my head. Yes, you do. And we've had a lot of funerals, and we brung macaroni and cheese to the repast and some sodas, and we sung a hymn. But at the end of the day, if we're really friends and we're real friends that can hold each other accountable for the shit that we do to each other, whether you like it or not, we should be able to come to each other and say, this is how you had me fucked up, and this is why I'm pissed off with you. So we can kind of get to the meat and potatoes of the situation. And sometimes what you're really mad at is not really the person, it's the situation and whatever you're going on, within yourself. So, I mean, I think that therapy is healthy. A lot of people think that therapists are saying what you want to hear. My therapist hasn't said anything I wanted to hear thus far. I'm clearly the problem, and I'm working on myself. I'm the problem. Well, I can always get help and be a better person, but clearly I have some issues that I need to kind of iron out and come to terms with. So right. I have like just 2 more questions. Standards. Why are they important to you?
How so?
Like your standards. You have standards, don't you?
Yeah.
And why are they important to you?
Because it's important to me because I guess it's like your non-negotiables, right? Like, to take it back to like FDA, I know myself, and if I allow myself to waver in aspects that like I'm really firm on, it will catch up to us at some point or another, and probably more so me, like, and it's like, and then I'll be like, you fucking know better than that, like, you know better,
right?
Like, I can't, like, some things it's just like unacceptable, like, okay, I can't deal with this, and there's a reason why I can't deal with it. So if this is my standard, or this is like the things that I'm not negotiable on, it's for a reason. Obviously something probably happened in the past where I was like, nope, absolutely not, never doing this again. So if you know that, like, the best thing you can do is really know yourself as a person, because no one is going to know you as well as you know you. So right. If I know this about myself, I can't allow you to convince me otherwise, whether it be that you're different, or give it a shot or whatever, because it's really not about you, it's about me. Right. And you could be all these things, but that one thing I'm cool on. I can't do it, because you're going to see a side of me that is not healthy or conducive to like a loving environment, situation, relationship, or whatever. So it's in everybody's best interest that I just remove myself.
Now shout out to Miss Turner Stevens.
I just saw that. Aw.
So how important is your standards when you're in a relationship? Do you let your standards be known up front? Do you let them kind of come out like slowly but surely until you know what the relationship is going to be? Like, what are your expectations of your partner?
I feel like my standards are my standards, right? And I don't necessarily have to communicate that to somebody because they don't have to agree. You know what I mean? Like this is me. Like this is to get me in the game. So like I don't necessarily have to communicate my standards to you, but with regards to expectations, that's something that does need to be communicated because we need to just have like open communication, transparency. This is what I expect from you. What do you expect from me? That way there's no mistake down the line. There's no error. Oh, I don't want you to hit me with the, oh, I didn't know, or had I known. No, you fucking knew. You fucking knew. You knew. You fucking knew. Like, that's where you had me fucked up, because you knew. So I think it's important to communicate that to your partner, prospective partner, whatever, just so that you're not disappointed down the line. And yeah.
How fast do you run on a red flag, or do you give them a chance? I think that question is for both of us. You want to answer that? Because
I mean, it depends on the red flag. Like I have like the gift of discernment, and like I might not say anything, but I peep everything. So if I notice a red flag, it's like I'm filing it in my mental Rolodex, and it, like, let's say the red flag happens while we're like physically together. When we separate, I'm really thinking about that shit. I'm investigating. I'm hiring my investigator. Shout out to that person because they know who they are, and we gonna get to the bottom of this situation.
it's me. I'm the investigator. It's me. I don't know why she tried to be secretive. It's me. I don't see it. If I can't find it, it don't exist.
Let me tell you something. Simone can find anything.
Anything and anyone. Anything and anyone.
Anything.
There's
all
not
she
one
needs
thing
is
I
about
don't know.
45 minutes to an hour.
15
She
minutes.
will fucking find it. I'm not
Give
joking.
me 15 minutes.
This has been tested. It's tried and true. Let me catch her when she has the time. And
I might have missed my calling.
Let me tell you something about my friend Simone.
If I can't find it, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
I can find people that don't want to be found. And I've done it.
Listen,
I'm trained. I'm very trained.
I don't know what her resources are. I don't question it. All I know is she comes through with the receipts. It is a skill to brag about. And that is
because I know.
So if there's a red flag, we're looking into it. An investigation will be done. And pending the outcome of the investigation, you will be clipped. Exactly. Or maybe not.
I'm looking for somebody. Simone, hit me up on the side. We can kind of go over that information. All I need is a name.
You should start charging, like for real. But don't charge me.
And it really does stress me out. If I can't figure it out in 15 minutes, I'm like, it doesn't exist. Whoever this person is, it doesn't. That is a red flag. Listen, if my friends want to come to me and ask me a certain question about something,
we're talking about life-changing decisions.
We're talking about exactly. So if I can go ahead and do that for them, I would do it. For me, I really don't like red flags because I feel like you are who you are. That's something that I've been struggling with. Like, people are who they are. I was told that people don't change, but then through therapy, I'm told that this ain't really what I think it is. So I don't really know. But normally, I am somebody who sees a red flag and I'm out. It could be a half a flag. The flag don't even have to be all the way out there. It could be peeking out. And I'd be like,
Simone's cool running. That's cool running over there. She's out.
I'm out. And it's crazy because I think there was a point in my life where there was someone who I had a rapport with who wanted to be sincere about getting serious. But I could not let go of everything that happened before, and it kept playing over and over in my mind. And I know that this is something that's in this person. It's one thing for a red flag. It's something that you know that's there. It's in there. You know it's there. You don't know how it comes out. You don't know when it's going to show up. But why should I stick around and just kind of play around and wait for it to come out? I kind of really got adjusted who you are.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really want to kind of further investigate into that situation. I have enough of what I need, and I don't want to go any further, because one thing about me is I don't like to waste time.
Hello, and
So
we
that's the reason why, you know, a lot of people may fault me and say, you know, she's always kind of like leaving and running away, blah blah blah. I don't know how much time I have here on earth, and I'm not really running next to a clock, but I really am on borrowed time. So I don't want to waste any time on something that isn't really solid, or something that isn't really true, or isn't really what it is. Because if that's not what it is, then I can kind of go on my way, you kind of go on your way, and then we could just kind of just be like this, and I could just do what I need to do. Wasting my time is like, I can never get that time back.
Ever.
I can never get any time back. And if it's something that you want to work on, that's different. But normally people throw their red flags out and be like, this is what you got to do. Like, you know, I mean, this is what you want to do. Like, you see shit, you can speak on it, because that's the mature thing to do. You see a red flag, you can talk to that person about it, communicate with them about it. So that's
what you definitely do.
As an adult, you can talk about the red flag. An immature person would leave the red flag, like without any conversation. You just want to leave. So I have left. I'm not going to sit up here and say that was the mature thing to do, but I definitely left because I don't want to explore it anymore. I don't want to touch it. It's foreign. I don't want to deal with that, period.
Period.
I don't even know what that is. You got baby mama drama. What else we need to talk about? What else do we need to see? That's a red flag. That means that is liable to kind of tumble over into our situation. At some point, those two worlds will mix or clash, or something will happen where we have to kind of like deal with that. So yeah, avoiding a conversation, I would probably just leave. Like, I don't want to do that. Years later, I'll run into them and they'll be like, yo, what happened? I don't know, you know, timing, blah, blah, blah. I'll make up something, but I don't know. How important is commitment to you, and what are you willing to do to
Come on, Ashley, coming through with the questions. That's my old roommate from college.
How important is commitment to you? You, not me.
Commitment is very important. It's important. I'm not at the point where I want anything that's not going to be like the real deal Holyfield. Like, if you don't want to be committed to me, then just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And then, like, what am I willing to do to achieve it? I don't really feel like I have to do people fighting outside. I don't feel like I have to do anything to achieve it, because it will be communicated. Like, again, like, I'm the type of person where I'm going to make my intentions clear very early on, and then you can stay or go. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to fault you. I'm not going to hate you. Like, you know, everything is not for everyone. So sometimes people aren't a match for each other, like, regardless of what it is. And, you know, or maybe I'm not looking for something like that. But I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm way too old to be out here, like, sticking and moving, and that was never really my style, to be honest. Like, I never was that girl, and I don't know, I never had a whole phase, and, you know, maybe, I don't know if I'm missing out on something, but I don't really feel like I am. So for me, it's important, and I think it's just important to, like, communicate that up front. And then, but, like, you know, just because you communicated and the person say, like, they're on the same page as you, that doesn't mean, like, okay, now we're good to go. Like, you still have to watch what they do, because men will say one thing and do something completely different. And, you know, that's really that. So, like, you might tell me, yeah, I want the same thing. We're good. We're on the same place. We Gucci. And then, you know, next thing you know, he's doing a lot of shit that just looks like we're not on the same page. All right, cool.
Whole phase is a must. I don't really like to call it a whole phase. I call it a discovery phase. You figure out who you are and what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And it's not as comforting, but you really have to have thick skin in order to go through the quote unquote whole phase. You have to really own that, and you have to really be honest. I think a lot of women who definitely do go through that phase, it's a very promiscuous time. It's a very scary time. It's a very uncertain time. It's a lot of stigma around that, because a lot of other women who are not as comfortable with their sexuality will shame you.
You a hoe.
Hoe shaming, because you are comfortable and you embody a certain type of confidence where I am okay with that. I went to college. I went to a black school, and I had a whole phase, and that's just what it is. That's what it was. I mean, that's what it was called. But I
listen, if you can own it, can't nobody throw it in your face. Like, if
But
that's
nobody can tell my story but me, because you let these people tell it. They were really into me and they really liked me, and they're probably still following me, and some of them are probably in the comment section. So that's on that. You know, that never really stopped anything.
Right.
That didn't stop anything at all. So, I mean, it didn't, I don't think that, what is the age expiration on the whole phase? I mean,
it depends on the person.
Some people never come out of it. Some people never truly come out of the whole phase. I mean, I think it's but Corona. Them niggas is like,
Carrie, stop lying. You're not about that life.
I just feel like this. I was in a point in my life where I just was really, I was a late bloomer. I didn't start having sex till later on. I went to school. I was out there at school. I was meeting guys, and I liked them. They liked me. I thought more would come out of it. Nothing came out of it. And then I was on to the next. And that's just how it was. I was on to the next.
Someone said the earlier the better, but like everyone's situation is unique. So like if you're someone that was in a relationship, let's say you were in one relationship for all of your 20s, if you want to be in a whole phase in your 30s, that's not too old.
A whole is someone who sleeping around with a lot of different men. I mean, listen, I was doing whatever I was doing, and then not their experience.
Zero respect for old. What's an old ass hoe?
But there are some women out here that are just kind of sticking and moving and doing whatever they want to do because maybe they missed out on that part of their life, and they're trying to get that.
You know their glory. You know their story.
Now,
you know their glory. You don't know their story.
Listen, now I'm some people's mother. I'm not just a person's mother. I am someone's mother. I have two people that look up to me. So I'm able to say, okay, this is not good. And every hoe is just not out here like these Instagram girls are doing it. I'm trusting to believe some of these girls out here, I know Black trying to cry at home. She has to cry. She has to. There's so much that's going on. I know she cried. Like, you be sensitive. Like, nobody really wants to be, that girl. But, I mean, I didn't listen, I didn't do the slut walk and walk in the street with Amber Rose, but I also would not be sitting up here and saying, like, yeah, I did meet a guy and that didn't work. And I moved on. And some might categorize me as a hoe, and some people might be like, she was messing around and they were serious, but then it just stopped. Like,
there's a difference. There's a difference, Ashley, between a hoe and a whole phase. We're not talking about a 45-year-old, 50-year-old man that's been a hoe his whole adult natural life. We're talking about people that go through a lot of different things. People that go through a period where they just don't want to be committed.
Mary Jane wasn't a hoe. Mary Jane, the character Mary Jane. She was definitely in a weird phase in her life where she was trying to look for commitment, but she was doing it the wrong way. She was finding herself in the wrong situation.
What's Shorty?
I don't know. If you don't stop looking at Mitch's comments,
can't, because
you have to stop looking at his comments.
No, but the contents, the comments is where the content is.
No, you gotta look up.
I'm trying to ignore Mitch though, because Mitch got something to say every 10 seconds.
Because that's Mitch. I think Mitch comes in. I think Mitch is the Terrence Howard of the group and the best man. Like the one that kind of comes in and says something, a little cryptic message, like dropping a bone right here and then leaving it right there.
Ashley, I'm not.
How long can a whole phase last? Asking for a friend. I guess listen. Whatever you're doing out here, when you're out here dating multiple people, people are gonna categorize you as being a hoe. You hoeing around. So if you haven't been in a relationship for X amount of time, people consider that you are hoeing around, or you sleeping around, or whatever the case might be. It comes a time in your life where you get tired of doing all of the fuckery that comes along with that, the games, talking to this person, that person. You get real tired and you want to hang it up. 20 years is a really long time. 20
years is too fucking long.
20 years is I'm going to say a good, strong
That's
year and a
lifetime.
half. A year and a half tops. It's draining on your spirit because you think about it. Any woman that's had sex with more than one man has laid down and woke up with whatever the hell that was on him. I believe in people's energies and people's stuff just kind of coming on you. So whenever you lay down with somebody, you wake up with them, you don't want to have all the spirits all over your body like that. It's really not a good feeling. You definitely going to need a cleanse.
That's a lot of niggas to be like on somebody's mattress. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but like,
I'm not talking about 100 people, but I'm just saying, like, it's just something to be said about that. The more you share yourself with different people, the more you kind of take on their energies, insecurities, or whatever. I just feel like it just kind of like, it comes
I feel like that's a special part of a person. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, like, you know, sex is the ultimate, the end all be all. But I do think there's power in kind of being selective with who you sleep with. Now, that's not saying you have to exercise that power, but it is power in that. And if you are just freely giving that to people for whatever reason, there's probably a little bit more to it than that. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's it. Do you have any closing word arguments?
Closing arguments.
Miss Esquire.
Nope.
Anything positive that you want to say to anybody out there? Like anything you want to say, like in the midst of COVID-19, how are you handling this?
I like, we spoke earlier and I had a rough day just emotionally. Like, I don't know. I think like, I feel like I have anxiety. Shut up, Alvaro. We've had anxiety. I've had anxiety. I haven't been sleeping well. And I feel like everything going on with COVID, everything going on in the country, which is like people being murdered, Black men in particular being murdered, being targeted, being harassed. It doesn't sit well with me. It's unsettling. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. I feel a lot of things right now, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this. It's draining, and I feel like we all feel the same way. So I just want to say, just like kind of just send prayers and love to everybody, because like we're all in this together. And we're all dealing with it. And like, hopefully, there will come a time where we won't have to be, constantly like saying rest in peace, like, and just actually be at peace. So
right.
That's how I feel about that.
I think peace is something that a lot of us kind of take for granted, like peace of mind, peace. We're all home right now, and I know that it's very stressful with all of us being here, being limited. I think there was a point in time where we all had to kind of like press pause. And then with all of that, on top of that, you have to kind of like sit in your bullshit. Like everybody has to sit down, deal with whatever it is that they were avoiding, whatever was distracting them, whatever they had to kind of hone in on. Right now is the time. I think that even though the things that are happening in the Black community, which is very sad, like I normally don't really touch on the Black Lives Matter. I just don't, because it really depresses me. It's really scary out here. I do have a son now. And that's just not something that you would want for any son, man. I have brothers. I have, a lot of Black men that I love and that I honestly respect. That, we have to keep teaching our Black men to kind of like, if you see the police, don't argue with them. Don't put up a fight. Because we just want to make sure that you come home at the end of the night. Like any,
Yeah. I mean, that's a conversation I had to have with Kwame a few years ago.
Like, why do you have to be defenseless just so I can make you come home so somebody can emasculate you and make you feel less of a man? You didn't do anything wrong. You're minding your own business. But, I got to make sure that you know what to do. Keep your hands right here. And you may still get attacked even if you do everything right. So there's no real telling. And, like, do you go out as a fighter? Like what can you really do?
And it's
because
like,
even if you do kind of be like, I didn't do anything. I'm really sorry and apologize. It still doesn't matter to hem you up. So what do? You go out fighting or you just go out peacefully? Like, it's really no way of knowing how this is gonna go. Like, everything is happening in this world, and racism is still at an all-time high. And I thought that this would be like COVID-19. I thought that it was a pause. I thought that it was gonna be a time for reflection. I thought it was gonna be a time for things that were falling apart to kind of come together. And now this is happening on top of it. So not only are we dealing with a pandemic, we're still constantly dealing with racism every day. And, I think it's time that we just kind of all come together. I always feel like Black people, we are these people that they have to do this to us because we are going to be so great, and we are just so great. So they try to, demoralize us.
Great to resilient.
I think that even in the midst of this pandemic, Black people have been evolving, still creating, still doing things, making masks. Black women were on the front lines of making masks, to protect us and our children where we're going out. My mom has made like 1,000 masks, just so that we can be protected. And it's so hurtful that we are so powerful as a race, but we're still weak within our race as a whole.
I think what I would personally like for us, what I would personally like to see is us just not being so passive. If we're being met with like violence, then we need to respond with violence, because us being passive hasn't really gotten us anywhere. And we can be with the shits. We know we can be with the shits, and there's strength in numbers. And I look back to, you know, when our parents, well, more like my father, like when he was growing up, where if you said something to one person, it didn't even matter if he knew that person. That was his brother, and the whole community was showing up, and whatever was about to happen, they were all on the front lines. And I think that's kind of the approach that we need to take, because it's very obvious that all we have is one another.
Yeah.
All we have is one another. Like we do have to stop fighting amongst ourselves and just putting the things that are so trivial aside and just being unified, because the problem is that we're so fucking dysfunctional, and we fight so much that people feel like they can fuck with us because we can't even, you know, mobilize properly without whatever. We need to show them that we're better than that, and like if you mess with one of us, all of us are coming for you. And that's it.
Well, thank you for coming on here with me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I love you. Thank you so much. I guess tune in next Thursday. I will have another special guest. Thank you guys. Good night.
Bye.